Happy National Tie-Dye Day! Whoop whoop! Doesn't look like I have tie-dye on, but I have my tie-dye leggings. So, today, to celebrate, you guys like the sunflower t-shirt a lot, so I'm gonna do a 58" by 58" tapestry with a big old sunflower in the middle and then two super cool half mandalas on the sides of it. So before we do that, hit that subscribe button and then hit the notification bell so that way you never miss a video. Let's just do it. Alright, so we have our 58" by 58" 100% cotton tapestry. So we're going to fold it in half, so we're just taking two of the corner loops and putting them together. And obviously that's not going to work, so we are going to take both of the corner loops. Make sure everything is lined up. This one is not working with me today. Trying to get out your wrinkles. Alright, so if you've seen the sunflower shirt, it's just the flower. We are going to try to do the stem with a little leaf on it, but we want this to be big. So this is all we're going to do is fold it in half. And now we are going to have our marker. And we're just going to do a big circle for the flower because we have two different kinds of yellows we're going to be using for that just to get the effect we're going for. So I have all of the top part of the tapestry up here. I have probably like foot and a half hanging off of my table. So I don't want the sunflower right at the top, so I'm probably going to move this up about a foot-ish. Alright, so now we're going to do our circle. I'm going to do it right here. And alright, so that is going to be our flower, and then you're going to want the brown part of the center of the flower. So make another little circle there. And then we're going to push this up and make a pretty thick stem on it. So you got to remember too that this is folded in half, so when you open it up it's going to be exactly of half of what you drew, so you don't want it too thick. So I am going to do it about here. It's probably about an inch. And go straight down. We have about a foot left of the tapestry, so we're going to pull it down some and go straight over. And then I really wanted to do a leaf on this one, so I'm going to do a leaf, but I think I'm going to do the leaf after it's tied. So because if you try to do it right now and you do it right here, you're not actually going to be able to sinew that off because it's not a part of this outside part of the tapestry. So once we have all this folded and tied with sinew, then we can come over here and kind of fold it where we need to and then sinew that off. So before we even do that, we're going to tie all this stuff up. So I have my sinew and I'm going to make my knot before I even try. That's a lot of fabric. Then you're going to pull the tapestry up to you. We're going to start at the very top. And I'm going to do this center circle first, and then we'll do the outside circle. So just take your fabric and match up your lines with your pleat fold. It can be fairly thick because it's still going to look like a sunflower. It's a pretty simple design. We're doing a circle because, like I said, I have two different color yellows, and what we're going to do with those is when we dye it, one yellow is going to go on the top, and then when we flip it over, the other kind of yellow is going to go on the bottom, so that it's going to have that highlight effect to it. It's going to look like petals. And then of course the center we're going to do brown like a sunflower. So tie that one off. So just line up your sinew with your marker and pull it just tight enough to hold it for you so that you can get rid of the slack on your sinew, and put your hand down on it and pull tight. Don't pull too tight or this will come right undone. Wrap it around 3 times and try to match up with your original sinew line, because if you don't, you'll have multiple lines and that'll look funny. So that, like, if you haven't seen any of my earlier videos, this is waxy, so you don't actually have to tie it. It's gonna stay put until you're ready to get rid of it. So we'll cut this little guy off and leave a little tail so that we can untie that part. And then make another knot. And then we're gonna do the outside circle, which will be fairly easy because it's kind of already done for you. You just have to get your line back where you want it. Another easier way to do this, I'm not doing it because it doesn't make it perfect, is if you do the bullseye method, you could get your circles out of that. But like I said, you won't get perfect circles, because all you do with a bullseye is you take the center of the fabric and pull it up through your hand. And it does make a bullseye, but not perfect. But then again, tie-dye is not perfect, and if that's easier for you, you should do it. There is no right or wrong way to tie-dye. Now right here is where the stem meets the flower. Just go past that to make your flower. Don't even think about the stem yet. And then tie that one off. Do the same thing that you just did with the first circle. Alright, and then we're gonna work on our stem. So for this one, we're gonna come down here at the bottom. Make sure you do your knot first so you don't have to try to let go of your fabric. So pleat fold that too. And you're gonna have to turn it once you get to the corner and then start going pleat folding up toward your flower. Now we have we don't have like enough fabric to go all the way up to where we were with the flower, so we're just going to try to get it as close as we can. And then when we sinew this, I'm going to show you real quick. You want to get this sinew as close to this sinew as you can. So we will put our sinew on this, but we got room in here. We're gonna put the sinew up by this sinew if we can. And then it'll kind of drag in the rest of that fabric that's sitting here. I'm gonna try to scooch that in there. Alright, I got it right next to the sinew. The original, I should say. And then we're gonna bunch this right up to the flower. And hold both. So hold your stem and your flower so that you can make sure that your sinew is gonna stay right where you want it. And then pull it so you don't have to hold your fabric. And this one will be a little trickier to wrap around so that it doesn't come untied, but just make sure you find your sinew line. Alright, so we got the flower done, the stem is done. And now we have all this bunched up fabric right here. So I would be lying if I said that we were going to have issues making the leaf, because now we have the center of the flower, and the stem. And normally when you do a leaf, it's going to be right off of the stem. And now all this is bunched up, so if we do try to do a leaf, it's going to look super funky and super weird, and it probably isn't even going to look like it's part of this. So we are going to skip that. And that is not all. We are not just doing sunflower. We are doing the 2 mandalas on the side. So that for that one, we're going to pretend the flower isn't even there. And so this is going to be like a mandala fold. So we're going to take our corners of the opposite part of the tapestry and fold them in another half. So this is where it gets a little hard because we got bunched up fabric everywhere. So straighten everything out as best as you can. Get your wrinkles out. And then we are going to take the 2 corner loops we just folded together, just the top 2, and we're going to pull them up like a mandala. straighten this out a little bit. And then fold it again one more time. And then we're going to do the same thing with the other side. So you're going to want to take all of this fabric, make sure you have it all, flip it right over, and then you're going to fold just like I did on the other side. So fold it all the way back, and then one more time. So it looks like a mandala except for this bunched up mess. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look and make sure where our flower and our stem is. And we don't want to go too close to that. We want some room around it. So we're going to take our marker and do a mandala. So I'm just going to start here and do my zigzags. I'm going to make them pretty tall looking. And I want pretty big mandalas, so I'm just going to go as far as I can without running into the flower. So there's a big bunched up part of the tapestry here too. So if I go any further, it's gonna look weird. So that is where we're gonna stop. So we have all of our zigzags for the mandalas. Now we gotta remember too that this is gonna be not just one side of the flower, it's going to be on the other side too because it's folded in half, and then we did the mandala fold, so this is going to be on the other side too. So now we're going to sinew all of that, tie your knot. We're going to start at the bottom. So for the bottom it is pretty thick, but all we're going to do is line up the line because we can't really pleat fold on this end. So just line up your sinew with your line, and then we're going to put your hand down on it and pull it. Line it up the best you can. If you want to, you could just crumple it up like that because your line will still match, which is what I'm going to do. Look at that, I made a mistake. So that one pull, when I pulled it, it came right back down. So now if I leave it like that, it's kind of just gonna look like a circle in the middle. And I don't really want that. So I'm going to undo it and then retry it. So I'm just gonna pull with my nail just to loosen it up some and then retry it again. That's actually why if you scrunch it up a little bit like this, it'll work better, just because your sinew won't pull itself down. So let me show you real quick. So that's how I did the bunching. So now it matches my line. So you'll just pull and then check, make sure you're matched up. And then you can wrap that couple times. We'll do it this way. And then move it this way. We'll do it again and again. One matched up really good too. So if you can start pleat folding, that's like 2 pleats, so it's still pleat folding. But now you can try to do it that way to make it easier on you, just to hold your fabric together too. I'm gonna have to cut that little guy getting in my way. So now it's gonna get thick and a little difficult, but not too bad. It's just hard to have your sinew where you normally put it, and then you have to keep moving it every time you have to do something with it. Another thing that I'm doing, just to show you real quick, when I put my sinew down in by my other parts of my sinew, I kind of wedge it in there, but I'm still trying to match up my original sinew lines. So make sure you're doing that too, or else your petals to your mandala aren't going to match up quite right. They're going to look kind of funny, but they'll look cool. If it happens, it happens. It's super thick. Alright, so that was the last one. So I'm gonna cut that one, cut this little guy down here. Oh, that one's actually in there somewhere, so we'll leave that one there. And then before anything else, so remember too, when we dye these, we're not gonna want all of this just loose and hanging all over the place. So what we're gonna do is flip it over like this, so that we have our flower, our stem, our center of our flower, and our mandala out on its own, so that we're not mixing whatever other colors we have. So we don't want it just laying like this either. So for the rest of this, we're gonna scrunch it. Now there's not really an easy way to do it, because this is what it looks like if you try to open it up and look at it. It's very weird looking. So we just want this to be the easiest we can make it for dyeing purposes. See, we have this big old gaping hole right here. So, like I said, we'll make sure that we have this out like this so we could dye that, and this out like this so we could dye that. And then we'll just take the rest of this, because another thing, if you haven't noticed some of my videos, when you have all this big mess right here and you scrunch it, it makes really cool patterns that you didn't even know that you could make with a scrunch. So when you do this and all of that's in there, you want to over dye it just a tad, but not too much, because you'll make some cool stuff with just scrunching that center part. So I'm getting my biggest rubber bands out because it's a lot of fabric. Shouldn't need too many, but start from the center and just pull it all in. Even if it's thick, that's okay, because you're gonna, like I said, make some cool stuff out of it. And then secure that with as many rubber bands as you want. You can't really overdo it, but then again, you can probably overdo it if you literally put a million rubber bands on it, and then you're gonna make a big rubber band ball out of your tapestry. And probably no dye will get to it. But I don't think you guys are trying to do that anyways. Normally it'll go under there pretty easy. Just a couple more. Alright, I think that is good. So now we have our scrunched part, our mandala, our flower, and our stem. And if you turn it over, it looks pretty much the same. So the only thing we're gonna really have to try to do is maybe might have to wedge something in between the stem and the flower while we're dyeing it, because the stem is going to be green and the flower is going to be yellow, and if they're touching, you're going to have green in your flower. So we're going to find something to wedge in here like that so that they're not touching. But now we're ready to dye. Alright you guys, so this is our Tied Sunflower Mandala Tapestry. So this is what I have made, and this is what I'm going to do. So brown right here for the inside of the flower, yellow, so I have bright yellow to go on top, and then I have actually a sunflower, or not sunflower, excuse me, sunshine yellow from Tulip that I still had from forever ago that I'm going to put on the back side. And then for the stem itself, I have emerald green. I'm actually going to do the whole background black. And then for the mandala, I have red violet and blue violet that I'm going to alternate. So one's like a light purple, the other one's like a dark purple. So that's what I'm going to do for this part. So what I did right here is it's just a little piece of cardboard to separate the stem and the flower so I don't get green in my flower. So just when you do something like this, when you flip it over, you really want to try to keep that in there, because if that pops out, or if that moves just right, that green is going right into your sunflower, and you don't want that. So you just got to be extra cautious when you flip that over. But I'm going to speed this part up, and then afterwards we'll talk about which colors I put where, so you can kind of see what they look like wet. And then we'll talk about the rinse process for the reveal. Alright you guys, so this one is dyed, so if you've noticed there are white spots in here, that's because in my history of tie-dye, black never seems to want to stay where I put it. So I came back a little bit by my mandala and by my flower, because if black goes right into the flower, it's not going to look like a flower anymore, and I did not want that. I also, if you notice on my sunflower shirt, which I do love by the way, but the brown does go into the flower also. It doesn't look terrible, but we kind of want to avoid that a little bit. So my brown went back a little bit, and you can see that it's bleeding towards my yellow. And you can see the yellow is bleeding towards the black, and the black will be bleeding towards the yellow. So the green actually seems to be staying put, so that is good. But if that goes into the black, it's not that big of a deal, because the black will cover it up. However, if the black goes into the green, it is not going to look good. It's not going to look like a stem at all. So there will probably be a little bit of a white highlight around our flower and our stem. Not bad, I don't think. I think it'll look pretty cool. My mandala has the red violet and the blue violet, so it's like a lighter purple, darker purple. So the red violet is red based, the blue violet is blue based, so you can kind of tell that here, that's red and that's blue. Then the black, that's emerald green. So on the underside of this side, it's the bright yellow. This side is that tulip sunshine yellow. So when you open this, it's going to look like a big yellow circle, but this darker yellow is going to make it look like separated petals. So that's what we wanted. And then the brown, of course. So now this is going to sit for about 24 hours, maybe a little sooner. And then what you're going to do is put this on the rack in the sink and rinse it until the water runs clear, if you can, because I know sometimes it's really annoying to sit there and try to get all the dye out. But the more dye you get out, the less it's going to come out in your washing machine. So make sure you're rinsing until the water runs clear, and then we can open this bad boy up. Alright, it's reveal time for our awesome sunflower with mandalas. So happy National Tie-Dye Day. I did say that yesterday when I dyed it, but we're posting it today. So happy National Tie-Dye Day, and I hope you're celebrating with me, because it's awesome. Not that you do anything special other than tie-dye or wear tie-dye, so hopefully you are. So awesome sunflower, and I'm really excited about it. So I still have dye coming off on my hand, so I need a towel. This is my ugly tie-dye towel, so just ignore the ugly tie-dye towel. So we're just gonna get right into it. I have black. Black is so hard to rinse in the sink, so I have black coming off on my gloves. You can't really see it, but I can. And I don't want black in my yellow, because that's gonna look weird. So the rubber band, super easy. Look at that, there's still some white in there. So let's do the mandala part first. And see how awesome that is. So the mandala has red violet and blue violet, both are purple. So purple, in my opinion, goes really, really good with yellow. So that's what I really wanted to do. And I wanted to make it pop with the black in the back, so it's gonna look really bright. And of course I use Dharma, so it's gonna look bright anyways. One more for this. I gotta yank it. Sorry. Okay. That is done. Alright, so this little piece of cardboard is garbage. And now all we have is the stem and the flower. So we'll do the stem first. So the stem is emerald green from Dharma. The sunflower is bright yellow from Dharma, and sunshine yellow from Tulip, just because I had it and it's a darker yellow and I wanted a darker yellow. And this is dark brown from Dharma, which is the center. And we're ready to open this awesome tapestry. Okay, ready? Ooh, that looks so cool. My sunflower is very uneven, but the mandalas look cool. The black looks cool. I think that's a pretty awesome tapestry, if I don't say so myself. I'm definitely gonna have to work on my circles, because that's not a circle, but it's a sunflower oval, so it's still pretty. My mandalas are pretty cool though, gotta say, and I love the black scrunch background to go with it, and I think it makes the colors pop, so looks pretty awesome. So again, happy National Tie-Dye Day. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, like my video, and comment if you want to. I would love to see any of your tie-dyes, because I am a tie-dye fan, obviously. So thank you for watching, and come back again, please.